Let's take a look at how the championship stands. After 3 races at Donington, it's Scott Jeffs who heads the Cooper S class, Max Bladen on top of the Coopers. Scott Jeffs started his weekend successfully, winning race 1, and now starts on pole for race 2.
I've done about 8 years of karting before, so I've got a lot of experience within motorsport and racing, but this is my first year racing cars, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I really feel comfortable in the car.
Seems to be the general reaction to the Minis is that it is a real driver's car. Scott Jeffs and Scott Adam on the outside, the front row of the grid, will lead the field away in their Cooper S's. Behind them, a second grid, that's the open class cars. And behind them again, the Coopers, headed by Max Bladen, the race 1 winner in that category. So basically, you start where you're finishing in your grid group. So massive field of cars, 18 rows of cars here. Scott Adam on the outside, the front row of the grid. Your pole sitter just across from him, Scott Jeffs, the black car with the orange highlights around the bonnet intake and the nose. Doesn't make a good start though. Much better get away from Rob Austin in third and from Scott Adam in second. And as you can see in those cars, still an awful lot of the production interior of the Mini very much visible. Tim Porter, Steve Cocker following through in 4th and 5th. As the leader heads on down out of Copse, the first corner on this national circuit into Maggots and Beckett's. Here come the Coopers. From the start, this will be flat into Copse corner. Oh, a little bit of bumping and boring there. And the yellow car, oh, that's William Neal, gets turned around by Marco Haig, who also goes off. I think Owen Walton was the man having a bit of a crisis of faith in the middle of the corner there. And he triggered all that lot off. Leader comes down towards the end of the lap. Scott Adam leading the Cooper S class. Let's take a look here. Watch Will Neal in the middle, number 22 car. But there's a bit of a tank slapper going on. 91, that's Owen Walton. And another one, Marco Haig, the red and white car. He gets into Will Neal, who unfortunately is the innocent victim in all of that and ends up facing the wrong way. Leader Scott Adam, 4th gear into Brooklands. Are you sure? Not sure that he was really slowed down quite enough there. Around the outside, Scott Jeffs, the pole man. Scott Jeffs, despite his championship lead so far, still carrying the novices' cross of a new racing driver. Well, Jeffs has shown plenty of ability and lots of speed in these cars. Right behind him, Rob Austin, not the ex-Formula 3 driver and currently British Touring Car ace. British Touring Car relations on the grid though. Rob Austin just shares the name. Battle for second place in the Cooper class. The white car number 6 is Sam Weller. Right behind him, Brad Hutchinson, 117. And then the number 4 machine, Michael Bamber. Bamber started in second on the grid. He was the runner-up to Max Bladen in the opener. But Bladen is clear. That's the blue front of Bladen's car. He's orange at the back, just to add to the confusion. And everybody else in second place. Sam Weller just hanging on in the white machine, but only just over Brad Hutchinson, and another novices cross on the back of the machine in 4th place. So lots of newcomers to the field. Michael Bamber, another relative rookie, got the inside line there. Of course, the fact that you're new to car racing doesn't necessarily mean you're new to racing. As Scott Jeffs, our pole man, pointed out, he's done plenty of karting before now, so you could, in theory, have been racing for a good decade before you get a novice's cross as a car racing driver. Hung out to dry there, Brad Hutchinson. He's going to hang on the inside line at Brooklands, and that then will leave him on the outside on the Luffield loop. So number 4, Michael Bamber, will take that spot, I think. Take a look again at Scott Adam. Gets far too quickly into Brooklands. Massive understeer, bit of a tank slapper. Almost collects Scott Jeffs. Jeffs unfortunately had his eyes wide open. Morgan Jones, Nathaniel Gollin, Simon Walton and the white car of Mark Poole in this Cooper battle, and they are being caught fast by the leaders. We're on board with Scott Adam in second place. Scott Jeffs, the Cooper S and race leader in front. So these much quicker cars now catching the 4-way squabble Who's watching the mirrors? Well, Scott Jeffs decide that discretion might be the better part of valour. The blue car, Scott Adam, goes the long way round the outside. Will the gap open up on the inside for him? It's certainly better than trying to go the long way round the outside of this squabbling quartet. And on acceleration, he goes by Martin Poole, he goes by Simon Walton, and right behind him is the black car of Scott Jeffs. They're now past Morgan Jones and Nathaniel Gullin as well at the front of that little queue, and through goes Scott Adam. Dealt with that minor panic. Scott Jeffs goes with him, and the car of Rob Austin third in that little queue. The third of our more powerful Cooper S cars goes through as well. Meanwhile, it's like weaving through traffic. Tim Porter in fourth, but off has gone, I think that was Morgan Jones. And comes the long way back on. Not seen that line used before. Scott Adam back behind Scott Jeffs. And again, he does like going late into Brooklands, doesn't he? There is a bit of runoff area there. That must be mullering the tyres. A lot of chronic understeer. There is another Cooper class battle coming up in front of leader Scott Jeffs. He might need to be a little bit more demonstrative with the headlights or something to try and fight his way through. Blue flags can't necessarily be relied upon, because when you're in a 2 or 3 car battle, you might be seeing them a lot anyway and not be aware that the leaders are coming. That may not be a problem for the guys in the open class. Stuart Lane, who is third in the open class in race 1, currently leading from Keith Isaac, the race 1 winner. Meanwhile, Scott Jeffs ahead of Scott Adam in the blue car. All-black car of Rob Austin, number 24, close behind. So Scott Adam watching Scott Jeffs and the other machinery in front of him like a hawk. What a classic Mini Red in the field, isn't there? Perhaps unsurprisingly, if you want a Mini to race, you might as well have it looking like a factory Mini from the 60s. Scott Adam with a much tighter line there, a little bit closing in on Scott Jeffs. Through Luffield, waiting forever to pick the throttle up there, and then over to the right, fringing the pit wall as you run down past the old Grand Prix pits. And this is a great opportunity to go by the slower cars. You've got the traction, got the speed off the corner, and actually you can probably turn in pretty much flat into Copse. Just a little confidence lift to get through the quicker cars, and through they go. No change in the Cooper S order. Scott Adams still in second place and still just about the same distance behind Scott Jeffs. Going by Sam Weller's white number 6 car. Don't forget that was in the 4th place battle. I think he's now 3rd in the Cooper class, so he doesn't want to give any ground away either. That's why when they got to Maggots and Beckett's, he was minding his P's and Q's. Bit of ducking and diving behind. Steve Cocker, 5th place in the Cooper S class. He's going past all the Coopers as well that the leaders have just dealt with. So by now, of course, the cars in the slightly slower classes will be aware what's coming up behind them. This is the battle behind 5th place in the Cooper class. Number 47, James Goodall, at the front of the queue, and there's about 7 cars behind, all waiting for him to make a mistake. Scott Adam still waiting for Scott Jeffs to make another error, but it looks as though Jeffs has really got his race rhythm sorted out. Scott Adam not close enough. And behind him in 3rd place, Rob Austin, equally not close enough to challenge. Tim Porter in 4th. Then there is Max Bladen. Now he's our Cooper class leader. The car behind him, 29, Morgan Jones, he went off, didn't he? And he's a lap behind, in fact. So Max Bladen, race 1 winner in the Coopers, is still leading the category, and everybody else, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. This is for somewhere in the top 10, and it might not be decided on the penultimate corner. It might not even be decided in the final corner, Luffield. That might come down to a drag race to the line. I'm not sure victory will, though, unless Scott Jeffs gives this away. He looks to have Scott Adam firmly under control. Our Mini, our car racing rookie, our race 1 winner and our pole sitter. A little bit of a turbulent beginning to the race for him. Oh, and a turbulent ending. Steve Cocker, the green and black car, and that's 117. Brad Hutchinson, the yellow machine, buried in the gravel. And he crunches away from that one at the Beckett's corner. Now here is our open class leader. That is the car of Stuart Lane, 3rd in the first race, and right behind him he's just put a lap on Max Bladen. They are about to start what I think is going to be their final lap. And again, Stuart Lane, another newcomer to car racing. That yellow square with the black cross on, diagonal cross. That's the novices cross. There you see it on the back of his car. Showed he's done less than a dozen races in his life in cars, or finished them with a clean nose at any rate. You get a signature after each cleanly completed race, and eventually you get rid of the novices cross. It's like having L plates on as a driver. The moment you get rid of those is always a proud moment. With Max Bladen, our Cooper class leader, won the first race and is on target to win the second one here as well. Scott Jeffs, last corner at Silverstone, heading out of Luffield and towards the checkered flag. Race number 2 of the weekend, win number 2 of the weekend. Scott Adam in second as he was in race 1, ahead of Rob Austin third as he was in race 1. So our class winners once more, Max Bladen, Stuart Lane, and our race winner, Scott Jeffs.
Scott, congratulations, 2 from 2 and a great way to start your Sunday morning.
Yeah, well, it's a tough race that was. I mean, got caught up amongst the back markers, but managed to hold it. So 2 out of 2 so far, so I'm happy with that, yeah.
To be fair, it's properly starting to sink in what's happening now. So yeah, it was still a hard race. Had to control some tyres because round here they destroyed them. But yeah, another one. I'm over the moon. I think it's probably one of the most special actually.
The car was just working really well. I think the cooler temperatures today made it a lot easier. Yesterday when brakes were overheating a little bit and the tyres were getting really warm, but today it just seemed to be running a lot better. The open class which I'm in, they're all pretty even to be honest. Today I was able to keep up with the Cooper S's for a good few laps, which was really good because they're on slicks and we're on semi-slicks. Then it's just working your way through the field, trying to get through all the back markers because the Coopers are normally aspirated, so they're a bit slower than us.
Final race of the weekend for the Coopers, Cooper S's and Open Challenge Minis, and it is the 66 car of Steve Cocker who is on the reverse pole. Alongside him, Tim Porter, number 94 in their closely liveried cars. Rob Austin will start in third place ahead of Scott Adam, and Scott Jeffs our race 1 winner. And reverse grids for the other classes as well. Lights off and away we go. Good start from our pole man. Number 66 jumps away, Steve Cocker, but a tardy getaway from the man alongside him. Rob Austin in second, our man Scott Adam in third position. Behind them, not too far behind either, are the open class cars. And there is your pole sitter, Chloe Hewitt. She's been jumped by Simon Clark and Jonathan Davis. And as the race 2 winner, Stuart Lane close behind. Max Bladen in the middle of that little group. He's the man that's won the opening 2 races in the Cooper class. A massive sea of minis. It's always been such a popular racing category in Great Britain since the 1960s, and has lost none of that. They still race all the classic shape minis as well as these more modern cars. Battle for third, the blue car of Scott Adam, just in front of Tim Porter. Scott Adam chasing Rob Austin and Steve Cocker. Cocker, the green and black car, drifting out wide in Luffield, and through goes Rob Austin. Alongside on the inside on the exit of Luffield, hasn't quite got there yet. He's got the inside line to Cops Corner, but I'd rather be on the outside to carry the speed through. Which way is this going to work? Rob Austin on the inside line, and Steve Cocker does keep himself in front. You need the momentum there, and it's so important to carry that speed. Look at Scott Adam here, unhindered by anybody else being on the other line. He gets a great run through Cops into Maggots, braking hard for Beckett's, and the right-hander that leads them onto the Wellington Straight, the old club circuit as was. The old club straight used to race everything down here, right up to see Formula 2 cars race around here, Formula 3000 cars as well. Imagine what a stop that is when you get down to the end of it into Brooklands. Well, up into second place, Scott Adam on the straight ahead of the matte black car of Rob Austin, and then Scott Jeffs behind with the black car and the orange highlights, our double race winner so far. Oh, and unfortunately Will Neal facing the wrong way for a second consecutive race. Well, that was coming down under braking, and there is our pole sitter in the class. Chloe Hewitt has pulled off. Didn't see the contact there, but it looks as though there might have been a little nudge for Will Neal. Steve Cocker, our race leader and the man in charge in the Cooper S class, now getting into the tail enders of the Cooper field. And as we saw in the previous races, that opens up all sorts of opportunities. Scott Adams still in third place. In front you can see the leaders side by side, and in fact through has gone Rob Austin, taking the lead away from Steve Cocker as they get into the Cooper class cars. They don't have the power of the Cooper S's. 117 still trailing a bit of body work. Brad Hutchinson, after getting knocked off in race 2, around the outside, a long way around the outside. Number 4, Michael Bamber, a very long way around the outside. It really paid off for him. Unless he gets pinged for exceeding track limits, he could pick up a couple of spaces there. Oh, it's all going wrong. Deep in under brakes, the number 25 car of Nathaniel Golin. And unfortunately hung out to dry on the outside, Michael Bamber. Now, did he get distracted? Something went wrong there for him. Leaders again through the Coopers. Rob Austin with Steve Cocker right behind him. And Scott Adam in third. They've got to focus now and try and hold on to their positions, not let Scott Jeffs through. Nothing against Scott Jeffs, but for the championship, these guys and their hopes of being a factor in it, got to stop his rampant series of victories. Adam chasing onto the old front straight here at Silverstone, or the front straight as gentlemen of a certain age prefer to call it, as Rob Austin battling still with Steve Cocker. They've got Cooper cars in amongst them as well. They are catching more. Steve Cocker back in front of Rob Austin. It's his nose into the Maggots-Beckett's element. The brow at Maggots, you've got to have the line right or it all goes so wrong onto the Wellington straight. Sort of triangular shaped circuit now with a little loop to the left as you get into Brooklands here. Flat in 6th gear, then braking hard, down a couple, turn in, try and get a little out of the short squirt up to Luffield. Here's Brad Hutchinson, trying to go around the outside, Nathaniel Golin. Golin takes the inside line going in. That allows him to drift out wide and still try and cover the inside at Luffield, and Hutchinson is going for it the long way around the outside, and eventually that more than 180-degree corner they travel unwinds in favour of the man on the inside. Only just though, and Hutchinson is really committed to this, and he's got the line on the straight. They are side by side, wheel to wheel. Adam Davey behind them as they headed up to Copse, battle for second, and now up to second goes Scott Adam for the first time. He's put in a move on Rob Austin, runs out very wide, out of Beckett, and on the straight he's got the inside line, and Austin needs to be cautious about being on the outside. That might not play well if he squeezes the man on the inside too far. Scott Adams not going to have anywhere to go but into him. Adam tight on the inside, drifting out wide. He's going to take the exit curve. Now he turns in tightly on the inside. He's in second, and again, Steve Cocker slicing this corner a different way. Goes in very wide and tries to get on the throttle as early as possible. Triangulating the corner, basically making it a V shape. And that's working for him because he's not under threat. He can leave the door wide open, but maybe not for too many more laps. Scott Adam in second. Will tow Rob Austin along behind him in third. Two of them working together. If they do, if Austin just follows Adam for a lap or two, they will close right in on the leader. Again, Scott Adam really under extreme braking. You saw the car moving around a lot. Rob Austin trying to come alongside. Steve Cocker still holding on to the lead. Here's the Cooper class, Adam Davey, the blue car ahead of Marco Haig, and they have been split by the leaders in the open class. The yellow and black car 81, you just saw trying to lunge through, that's Keith Isaac. The black car just in front of that group with the white sides, that is Richard Mills, who is leading the category. Keith Isaac, the winner in the first of the races. Stuart Lane won the second, and 34 you see going away from us. Richard Mills at the top of your picture. That's the tail end of the black car, and the rest of the field coming through as well. Down the inside, number 23, that's Simon Clark, and he has got Jonathan Davis close behind, 1-2-1. That is the grey car you can see. So we've got the open class cars with the little nose inlet on the bonnet, ahead of the Cooper class cars that don't have that. The Cooper S's also have the air intake on the top of the bonnet. So through goes 34, Richard Mills. We could have a third different winner in the open category here. And these are older versions of Minis, Coopers, Cooper S's, maybe even oldest JCW cars, Scottish Mini Challenge cars, other track day cars. Basically, they're trying to balance out anybody who's got a Mini and wants to come racing. Our race leader, still Steve Cocker from pole position. Scott Adam, though, is desperate to try and take a victory. He's been second to Scott Jeffs in both of the two races so far, and 3 times a runner-up is not good, is it? You want to be able to beat the guy who you beat in the previous 2 races, but Steve Cocker holds on. Oh my goodness me, went very, very wrong there for the blue car of Adam Davey. Well, he's battling with the red cars and Nathaniel Golin, and 17, Josh Golin, just collects the nose of Josh's car as he tries to turn in. That's the end of his race, I'm afraid. Steve Cocker leading them last lap at Silverstone. Scott Adams still in second place, and Cocker, who finished at the tail of the Cooper S class in both races, is going to win this final one. He started in front and he is staying in front. Well, that's a remarkable boost for Steve Cocker's confidence. His first win of the season in the books. It is victory in race 3 at Silverstone. Fantastic performance from the man who started on the reverse pole to hold off Scott Adam and Rob Austin. Third win of the weekend for Max Bladen in the Coopers. What a season this young man is putting together. And it is the matte black car of Richard Mills who wins the open class by a nose ahead of Keith Isaac. Confirmation, Cooper winner Max Bladen again. Richard Mills, the third different winner in open, and Steve Cocker takes the Cooper S's.
Yeah, just held on to it, but that was tough. Absolute tyres were gone. I was thinking, where's it coming from? But I thought they had grip, but they didn't. So yeah, I come through in the end, and yeah, got it. What a result!
A little bit cobwebs for me early in the morning, but I was determined to make up for it in race 3, and yeah, just went for it from the get-go. Really, very, very happy. Only my second race weekend ever, so very pleased. And I'm very impressed with the car. Excellent job by the team, RTS Motorsport, fantastic.
Thank God I somehow brought it to line first. And yeah, big thanks again to all the sponsors and the teams to Accelerate and Lewis Farm Shop and Sam Pollock Racing.
Perfect season so far for Max Bladen. He's won every race he's started. He leads the Cooper class. It's tight in the opens, but in the Cooper S's, looks like Scott Jeffs is starting to open up an advantage over his rivals.